Today, we are cutting through the noise with just a straightforward guide on running shoes that we recommend for race day. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for, what to ignore, and whether you need a dedicated pair of running shoes for race day at all. Let's dive in. So let's just get one thing straight. There's no single definition of what a race day shoe is. It's not a strict rule or category per se. It's more of a question of what your current running looks like and what your race day looks like. There are a few attributes that people usually think of when they imagine a race day shoe. It's usually quite lightweight. It has very responsive foam, so it snaps with every step, and it's designed to make you feel fast no matter what distance you're running. Think of it like this. Your daily running shoe is like a reliable car. It's dependable, it's comfortable, it gets you where you need to go. And a race day shoe is more like a sports car. You don't necessarily need one for every day, but on the right road, on the right day, you can fly. The most important thing to remember, especially if you're newer to running, is that no running shoe is a substitute for solid training. And honestly, your everyday running shoe might already be a great race day option for you. So what should you actually look for? Well, let's break down the things that really matter. I'm going to keep it simple with a few key points when it comes to shoes for race day. First up is weight. Lighter shoes just feel faster. The less weight on your foot, the less effort it is to move it. We're probably talking like 225 grams or under as a general benchmark. Race day is all about those incremental gains to set yourself up for success. So if you're running in a shoe that's just that little bit lighter, that's going to make a big difference over time. Just don't confuse weight for cushioning or responsiveness. Let's talk about that next. This is something that you might hear a lot in the running world, but people rarely explain. When your foot hits the ground, some of that energy gets absorbed by the shoe. A responsive shoe gives some of that energy back, like a tiny spring with every step. And the foam inside the shoe determines that response. Better foam performance means there's less energy wasted and more energy driving you forward, the thing that really matters. Next, let's talk about fit and how the shoe locks down on your foot. Now, your feet can actually swell on race day, especially over those longer distances, so you want something that's going to be comfortable while also keeping your foot secure. No slipping around, but also no pinching at any point. A good race day shoe hugs your foot in all the right places. If a shoe feels a little off in an easy run, it's going to feel really off deep into a race. Something you'll want to get really familiar with is how your feet fall when you land. If you're someone who tends to land on the back of their foot or something that is referred to as heel striking, then the shoe that's going to feel good to you is not necessarily the same shoe that's going to feel good to somebody who lands on the front of their foot or their forefoot. And that matters, especially for race day shoes, because these shoes are designed to meet your foot where you land when it matters most. Next, let's talk about comfort for your distance. This is a huge one that we'll come back to in a bit, but what you want in a shoe over a 5K is actually pretty different from what you might want in a shoe over, say, a marathon distance. Context is everything. Are you running a 5 or a 10K effort? These are relatively shorter events, and actually you'll want something that feels light and snappy under your foot. Comfort won't be the #1 priority. Instead, you want something that's going to keep you moving forward faster. A shoe that feels lightweight and quick is really going to serve you well. A great example here is the Adizero Evo SL, which has become a favorite amongst runners, and for good reason. There's no carbon plate here, but it uses all the same tech and high-performance foam from Adidas that you will see in the Elite range, packaged in this great lightweight shoe that is perfect for these shorter distances. It's super versatile. It's light, it's fast-feeling, it's fun. The only call-out that I will say is it is not the most stable shoe, so if you're just starting out, you might feel that this is a little bit wobbly side to side, something to be aware of. Another great example of a shoe perfect for this range is the Saucony Endorphin Speed. Similar idea here, super lightweight, great bouncy foam, and what I love about this shoe is that it actually has a nylon plate, so you're gonna get that great snap in your step, but it's a lot more durable than, say, a carbon-plated shoe would be. Now, are you running a half marathon or are you towing up for the marathon distance? This is where comfort becomes much more important. You're going to be moving for a long time. I'm talking 2 hours, 3 hours, 4, depending on the event, maybe even more. And with that kind of time on feet, your form will start to change. And that's something that you want to keep in mind when you're reaching for your race day shoe. Your stride might get shorter, maybe you'll start landing on your heel a bit more than you did at the start. You're putting your body under challenging conditions and you're really pushing yourself here, so it's only natural that your form will start to reflect the pressure that you're under. That's totally normal, we're all human here, but it's important to take on board when you're thinking of a shoe for the day. So over these longer distances, you want a shoe with cushioning that's designed to protect your legs over this time. More forgiveness however you land, and more responsiveness to keep you moving. That's where something like the Asics Novablast really shines. It's one of our favorite shoes on the market right now. It's lightweight, it's fast, and it's bouncy, all thanks to the FF Blast Max cushioning in this shoe. It's soft, but gives you that springy feel you want. That energetic ride is exactly why it's one of our go-tos for everyday running, but also the speedier stuff and those longer distances. We're also really big fans of the Asics Superblast. It's cushioned, responsive, and comfortable over pretty much any pace or distance. It's actually kind of crazy how versatile this shoe is, but it comes at a price. This shoe is expensive, there's no denying it. Another thing to call out, compared to the Superblast 2, the Superblast 3 has slightly softer foam, which really works for some runners, but really doesn't work for other runners. That's why it's great to try things on so you can hone in on what it is you like. Next, we're getting into carbon-plated running shoes, or super shoes. But before we get into our picks, it's worth understanding what these shoes are actually designed to do. And for that, I'm going to hand it over to Coach Ben. Take it away.
Okay, the carbon-plated running shoe. What actually is it, other than a bright shoe you've probably seen running around your local park? Well, this is one of them. And mainly the difference here is that they're a very lightweight, fast shoe that's got a plate of carbon fiber down the middle of it to help people to fundamentally run faster. And carbon fiber is a very light and a very stiff material that also returns to shape when you bend it a little, which means that with a carbon fiber shoe, when you hit the ground, it's going to help absorb some of that impact and then spring you forwards as it returns back to shape, which is brilliant so that people can run faster and sustain running fast for longer. But is it helpful for everyone? Typically, the faster you run, or more towards that end of the spectrum of those elite runners, the more helpful it's going to be. And one of the reasons for that is that these shoes are typically designed to run onto the midfoot or the forefoot of the shoe so that it can get that spring and propulsion. Whereas if we're going to land onto the heel of the shoe, these are going to become a lot less comfortable and they've got very little grip because they're really not designed for that, but they're also not going to get that same benefit as if we were striking with the front of the shoe. The other thing we should consider with these carbon shoes is that by doing some of the work for us, it means our body doesn't need to work as hard. And fundamentally, that might actually lead us long-term to being a weaker runner, or maybe even more likely to get injured. So if we're going to choose to race in a carbon shoe, it's really important that you practice it in training, make sure that you feel comfortable and that it agrees with you, but never let yourself do all your training in a carbon shoe, or you may well get a little weaker or get a higher injury risk.
If you are looking to take things up a notch on your race day, we're going to run through a couple super shoe options that we can't stop talking about. First is the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro. Say that 5 times fast. In this shoe, we have the Light Strike Pro foam. That is the elite performance foam from Adidas. We would have seen this in the Evo SL as well, but now it is packaged in their race day shoe. In this shoe, we actually have carbon energy rods, which run through the midsole all the way up to the front, and that's what's going to give you that little extra bounce in your step as you tick over those strides, moving through that mileage. It's placed in the center of the shoe here, so if you're somebody who tends to land on their midfoot, that is where you're going to get the most benefit from this shoe. It's lightweight, it's fast, it's super responsive, so if you've been in the market looking for a super shoe for race day, you might want to see what the fuss is all about. Now let's talk about the Nike Alphafly. This is an infamous race day running shoe. You would have seen this on the feet of runners breaking records all over the world, and it's no wonder. This shoe is packed with insane innovative technology. Running through this shoe is Nike's Zoom X foam. That's their elite performance foam. It is super lightweight and propulsive. We also have an air zoom pod in the forefoot of this shoe. We've talked about this before. It's actually just a pocket of air that's meant to give you a little bit more bounce in your step, really propel you forward, and also take a little bit of weight out of the shoe because we're looking for those marginal gains on race day, am I right? And what takes the shoe one step further is the carbon plate technology running all the way through the shoe. So as you are ticking through those strides, you're really being pushed forward by this great technology. This is a shoe that is built for speed. So if you're looking to run far and fast, you might want to check this out. And here is an important public service announcement. There are so many carbon-plated race day shoes out there. These are just a couple that we love, but if you've got a brand that you love, chances are that they have a shoe that they've designed specifically for elite performance on race day. And that's an important thing to remember. These shoes that are sometimes referred to as super shoes are really designed for a specific type of runner, that elite performance athlete that is really pushing the limits of the sport, which is to say not everybody needs to run out and grab themselves a pair of carbon-plated super shoes to have a great race day. A great training block matters way more. And if you want help training up to race day, Runna's got your back. Be sure to check out some of our other videos where we talk about shoes, training, and all things running. See you in the next one.